Nothing is worse than not getting a login prompt after powering on your system. There are plenty of things that could go wrong in the background, but most problems fall into two categories: kernel failure or drive failures. Kernel panic, or kernel failures, is when the kernel stops running in memory, causing the system to crash. This is often caused by software changes such as installing a new kernel without the appropriate module or library changes, or starting and stopping a program at a new run level. Often this can be fixed by starting the system by either selecting a previous kernel or using single user mode to log in and edit the files to change the system. If you ever need the system to boot up without allowing multiple users to connect, especially in a server environment, you can use single user mode. The grub menu allows you to start the system in single user mode by adding a single command. Single user mode allows only for one login for the user. The grub menu allows you to start the system in a single user mode by adding the single command to the Linux line in the boot menu commands. You'll boot to the grub menu, press the E key on the boot option, arrow down to the Linux line, and at the end type in the single command. This creates a single login for the user account. Once you're logged in, you edit the appropriate files to get your system started correctly. And now I'll show you an example single user mode in an Ubuntu server. Now here I am in a grub menu, and I'll arrow over to Ubuntu, and I'll click E to edit, and I'll keep arrowing down until I find a line that starts with Linux, and then I'll simply hit the N key so that I know for sure I'm at the end of that line. I'll do a space and type in single, and then I'll hit Control X to reboot with the changes. The system reboots, and it goes to what it calls rescue mode, and I can hit D to continue or hit enter. And then once I'm logged in, I'll type in journal ctl space that's the xb, and that shows the system log, so I kind of get an idea of what went wrong if the system did not boot correctly. And I can simply hit Q to quit that, and then I can simply type in reboot once I'm satisfied, and the system will. Besides single user mode, you can also add other kernel parameters to the Linux command in the grub menu. The kernel accepts parameters that alter the hardware module it activates, or the hardware settings it looks for with specific devices. You can specify the different hardware settings as additional parameters to the kernel in the Linux command and boot that entry in the grub menu. Sometimes the bootloader can't read the root drive device. However, this type of error is not always fatal. Sometimes it is possible to recover from a corrupted root drive. Many distributions provide a rescue disk for when fatal disk errors occur. The rescue disk usually boots from a CD or USB and loads a small Linux system into memory. Because it is in memory, it is able to scan and repair the system hard drive. The file system check command is an alias for a family of commands that are specific to the different types of file systems. You can run the file system check command against the device name of the partition that contains the root directory. For example, file system check /dev/sta1. The file system check command will examine the inode table along with the file blocks stored on the hard drive and attempt to reconcile them. If an error occurs, it will prompt you whether to repair them or not. After a successful repair, it is good practice to run the file system check command at least once more to ensure all errors have been found and corrected. When the file system check is completed, you can test the repaired partition by mounting it into a virtual directory created in memory. You use the mount command to mount it to an available directory. For example, mount /dev/sta1 /media. Here you can examine the file system in the partition to look for corruption before rebooting. Unmount the partition using the unmount command. For example, you do unmount /dev/sta1. Now you can reboot using the default bootloader and attempt to boot using the default kernel. Review question time. What program allows you to fix corrupted hard drive partitions? The file system check command. Which command allows you to append a partition to the virtual directory on a running Linux system? The mount command. Thank you everyone. Hope you come again next time.